it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. I'm going to make something for you today. And I think you're going to like it. It's very, very simple, but you know what? That's why I'm Simple Food, Simple Life. Everything is pretty simple with me. I don't like to get complicated. All right, this is a chicken dish. So what I have here is some chicken breasts. Now the reason they look like that, I've had them in this dish thawing out today, and on top of them I put some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and some Italian seasoning. So that's what they look like. I have some chopped onion here. I've got some cheese, some more Italian seasoning. I've got some diced tomatoes. And I have, for a backup in case I need it, a jar of tomato sauce. And I need some garlic powder. And that's really it. That's all we're going to need. So these are just some boneless chicken breasts that are actually frozen. They're Tyson. And so I'm going to brown those in my cast iron skillet. I have 3 of them here, which is plenty for me. This is going to make many meals for me. See what that looks like. I'm going to do the same to the other side. I'm going to put some salt. Turn the heat down a little bit. I'm going to put some pepper. I have some of this. I think I'm going to use this. A splurge. Going to put some Italian seasoning on the top. Now, if you don't want to use Italian seasoning, don't. And a whole garlic powder on the top as well. And I'm going to put some paprika on these as well. Okay. Now, I'm just going to let these brown in the pan until they're browned on both sides. And then I'm going to remove them, and I'm going to add the tomatoes and the onions, and I will show you what that looks like when we get there. Alright, I'm going to flip these over so you can see what they look like. I'm not cooking these until they are completely done. I'm just browning them on each side. The fat I had in here is beef tallow, but you can use butter if you prefer. That's good as well. I might add a little pat of butter to these drippings. We will see. Now I want to tell you something about this dish. This is very flexible. I happen to use Italian seasoning. However, you don't have to use Italian seasoning. You can use, give it a Mexican flavor if you want. You can add some Greek spices if you like, and still use these same ingredients. You can just use salt and pepper if you like. You don't have to use any of these things. So basically, you can make the dish your own. That's the important thing. This is just one way to do it. Alright, we're going to brown the other side, and then we will come back and go to the next step. This chicken, by the way, is pre-frozen Tyson chicken, actually. I happened to check the Fairway ads. This was a couple weeks ago, and they had 48-ounce bags of this frozen chicken breast for $3.99 each. And you could get 2. So I got 2. And then I went back later in the week because they had a special going on a particular day. And I got 2 more. So I ended up with 4 bags of frozen chicken. They cost $3.99 each, and I think that was a really great buy. All right. See what that looks like. I'll take it out. I'm just putting it in this dish here. I washed the dish. This was the dish they thought out, and I washed the dish. And I have a little butter here, not very much, but it'll do. And I have these nice chicken drippings with the spice in there. I've opened this can of tomatoes. This is fire roasted tomatoes from Aldi. You can use any tomatoes you want. Tomatoes these days come with a lot of different seasonings to them, which is really nice. I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. Turn my heat back on. Add that to the pan. Now then, I'm going to add these onions. I actually planned on sauteing the onions in the fat, but I didn't do it because I forgot. So it's okay. I'm going to cook them. I can cook them down. Now, what I want, hang on, I'm going to grab a little more butter. Frog in my throat. It's first fresh meat I've had all week. Silly granny. Okay. Now I'm gonna taste this. See if it needs something. I'm gonna add some little garlic. And those do taste like roasted or fire roasted tomatoes. They have a little smoky flavor to them, which is kind of nice. So, and I'm sure the onions would have been better if they'd have been sauteed, but hey, not going to worry about that. And I think, because I can, I'm going to put a little bit of parsley on here. And I'm going to put some red pepper flakes. So, now you can add to this whatever you want. Add mushrooms if you want to. You can add, honestly, just put in there whatever you feel like adding. Make this dish your own. Now, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm going to bring my chicken back over because, you know, our chicken is not done. I'm going to nestle it in the tomato onion mixture. Don't want to waste those juices. And I'm going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to cook it low and slow until the chicken is done. And then we will be back. Okie doke, this has been cooking for about, 10 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes. And so I've removed the lid because I want this liquid to reduce a little bit more. And of course, give the chicken a chance to get done as well. See how firm this chicken is? That tells you that chicken is done. When you're cooking meat, the firmer it is, the more done it is. If it is squishy inside, it's not done. So we're going to let this cook down a little bit, and then we're going to do one more step. I wanted to show you this while I'm yakking. This is my homemade cauliflower rice, or riced, R-I-C-E-D, cauliflower. Now I've eaten this a couple of times working my way through the bag, and it looks rice-like, but it doesn't taste anything like rice. You just have to know and understand that cauliflower, no matter the form in which you try to make it or conform it to, it will still taste like cauliflower because that is the nature of cauliflower. Okay? It still tastes like cauliflower. It's good. I can put butter, salt, and pepper on it, and it's tasty, but it's not rice. It does not taste like rice. It looks a tad like rice, and I don't know. Sometimes, for some folks, maybe the illusion is everything, but it is not rice. So I will probably have this. I'm going to warm it in the microwave, put a little butter, salt, and pepper on it, and I will have this as a side with my chicken. I don't know what to call this dish. I've never known what to call this dish. If you bake it in the oven, which you can, you don't have to finish it on the stove. You can bake it in the oven. You can call it a chicken tomato bake, I guess. It's just chicken in tomatoes. It will have cheese. So we will finish it off in the broiler, but you can do this in the oven if you want to. I would say about 375, maybe 400 degrees. And it will be delicious, by the way, if you do it that way. So if you have a name for this or you want to name it, put it in the comments. Say, I crowned this dish from Simple Food, Simple Life as whatever. Oh my word. I'm feeling silly today. Oh wait, that's every day. Alright, we will be back. Okay, I've turned the heat up a bit. It's reducing. It's coming along nicely. Just so you know, you can use any chicken you like. If you prefer dark meat chicken, use that. You can use thighs, legs, wings. You can use skin on, skin off, boneless. It's honestly whatever you prefer. It does not matter. You can actually make this dish with pork chops if you would like. It is really good that way. So you're not limited on this. And the reason I'm telling you this is I want you to, when I say let your imagination run away with you, that's what I mean. See where you can take this and make it to your preference, to your family's preference. Okay? See where you can take it. I have some mozzarella cheese here. I had a little block and I shredded it, so I'm going to put that on the top. I have turned my broiler on high. And I'm going to pop this under the broiler. If you're going to do the broiler or the oven method, make sure that your pan that you're cooking in, your skillet, is oven proof. So under the broiler, it's going. Doesn't that look delicious? It is delicious. It's awesome. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. Kitty thinks it's a thing of beauty too because she's driving me insane with her meowing. She has a very tiny meow, but oh my goodness. After you've listened to it 500 times, you sort of get tired of it. Back to the dish. Now then, all I did was just brown that slightly. That's all. And if you want to be fancy, because you know I'm fancy, you can put a little parsley on the top, or maybe a little basil on the top. That would be good too. Now, what can you eat with this? You can eat it all by itself. It's a lovely, actually a really good keto dish if that's your bent and you're watching your carbohydrates. You can have that, or you can have it with something. How about a side salad? Maybe a vegetable of some kind that you like. Rice, you could have it with rice. And this would be ever so delicious with a nice crusty garlic bread. Oh, 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 be still my heart. All right, that is it. Now, I'm going to cut a little piece off this, and I'm going to give it a little taste. But I know it's very, very hot. So hot. So let's bring this up here where you can see what I'm a-doing. Just going to taste a little bit of it because it's not my dinner time yet. And I'm going to take a little bit of this, some tomato. There's some cheese there as well. I'm going to try to take a bite of this. Let's see. That's very good. That's very nice. That little bit of butter mixed in with the tomato gives it almost a little creamy taste. So delicious, so delicious. You are going to love this. I know you will. If I can do this, you can do it. And the ingredients were so simple. And you noticed I didn't need to add the tomato sauce. That was just a contingency in case I needed it. But honestly, this is really, really just perfect the way it is. All right, that's it for me today. Thank you for joining me. I love you guys. You are so awesome. You're so patient. You're so terrific. I mean, I really do. I look forward to this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that this brings you some value. If it does, and you're new, please like, subscribe, and share. And you should share because, you know, other people might need to know how to do this stuff. All right. I love you. And you know that little is much when God is in it. Really, really, truly, it is. All right. I will talk to you later. And I'll see ya next time. Bye-bye.